Hi guys, my name is John. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk to you about Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity is a Christian-based volunteer program that helps those who couldn't afford a regular mortgage be able to build a home with a group of volunteers to be able to finally have a home with security and a payable rate. Habitat for Humanity was able to actually start out from a small community-based Christian program in Atlanta, Georgia, that was the Kohona Farm, to eventually become the $500 million company that it is. Before Habitat for Humanity, it was originally Kohona Farms, that was started in 1942. The founder was Clarence Jordan, who was a Southern Baptist minister. Clarence translated the New Testament Bibles into what is now known as the Cotton Patch Revisions. After Clarence graduated from the University of Georgia with a bachelor's degree in horticulture, he decided to follow the gospel into his new passion. Clarence then became a pastor that was ordained in 1934. Clarence used his education and his ministry to collectively make up the Kohona Farm. Kohona Farms was established as a Christian community that had the mission of equality, acceptance, and education, no matter what race. Kohona Farms, that would one day become Habitat for Humanity, still holds a high ambition of offering low-cost, interest-free housing and building programs that will help those who are unable to afford or reach those goals. Millard Fuller took over after Clarence Jordan's death in 1942, leading on the project of Kohona Partners instead of Kohona Farms. The idea was as simple as it was then as it is today. These men partnered with those who couldn't afford homes and building houses with affordable mortgages and using the profits to help others be able to afford their homes as well, recirculating the process. After Clarence's death, the Fuller family decided to move to Africa, which at this time was called Zimbabwe Zari. Fuller's family spent 3 years in the African Congo helping around 2,000 local people and their communities get homes before returning back to stateside. It wasn't until the relocation back to the States that Habitat for Humanity was actually developed. It was during September 1976 at the Kohona Farms when Jordan's idea was taken to the next level. Dude, shut up. I'm doing my best. Based on Fuller's Christian program, the basis is known as the Biblical Economics. They were meant as projects that would have a no-interest loan, be non-profit, and be volunteer-based. This basis was on volunteers and future homeowners to work side by side in all the endeavors of these communities. After that, for the next 8 years, Habitat for Humanity took off very quickly, becoming an international and financially stable program. It wasn't until it exploded with popularity after Jimmy Carter finally got involved in the program for Habitat for Humanity, taking the spotlight into millions of homes, bringing the attention to the project. Former President Jimmy Carter is still a well-known humanitarian and volunteer, especially when it comes for Habitat for Humanity. After the great launch and success of this international business, it is still raising great awareness by bringing other celebrities as well into the limelight. Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind were able to use Habitat for Humanity as a springboard for Jimmy Carter's work project, devoting 1 week a year to the annual Blitz, building and working hand on hand with projects, whether internationally or here in the States. I had actually the great opportunity to meet one of these Habitat for Humanity volunteers, Mr. Steve Stuck, early on this semester. Unfortunately, to both of our busy schedules, I wasn't actually able to sit down with him, but I was able to send him a various of back and forth emails and a few phone conversations that answered all the questions that you're probably going to hear about today. Mr. Shuck actually got involved with Habitat for Humanity at the beginning of the late 1990s through his Dallas Fellowship. With the help of Steve's Dallas Fellowship, he was actually able to help build one house a year with this volunteer group till the year of 1995 when Steve moved to Atlanta, Georgia, joining a new fellowship and continuing his service with Habitat for Humanity there as well. Trying to get to the root of why all this came about, I asked Steve bluntly why he joined Habitat for Humanity. And with a simple answer, he just said it was a chance to help others less fortunate than he was. Steve believed in a chance to put his hands to work for a good cause at all times. I was also able to ask Steve, why should others get involved with Habitat for Humanity? Which he was only able to say that it's a great chance to help someone out, and even better chance to meet people you would normally just pass on the street without ever getting to know. Which I completely agree that Steve is right, that there's a very big difference on giving a hand up instead of a hand out. I tried to ask Steve what did he consider the hardest aspect with dealing with Habitat for Humanity, and I honestly thought there was going to be a very sad or depressing story, though to my surprise, Steve was actually able to give a very large grin and tell me that now that he's a lot older, the days are longer and a lot harder to get up in the morning, and it wears him out faster. Laughing about this because Steve now is 61 years of age. I was able to ask Steve what he believed his most fulfilling achievement was during the work with Habitat for Humanity, and he told me that it was getting to know the future homeowners, meeting their children, asking them a lot of questions, and sharing stories back and forth about each other's lives. Doing this was a chance to let them know that someone really did care about them. It was always Steve's point to say again and again that it's about the families and the experiences you have together while you're volunteering. You have to remember that not every experience is positive. Asking Steve what were some of the challenges he's faced working with Habitat for Humanity and how he dealt with them, he kind of gave me a very woeful overtone and kind of just explained to me that working with Habitat for Humanity means sometimes working in dangerous neighborhoods like the ones he worked in on the south side of Atlanta. A lot of these come in mind with being bad areas of town that usually always need the most help. Steve tried to generalize that he was just really worried about, his car getting stolen or broken into and possible gunshots, which every now and then he explained that, sometimes you do hear them. Even in downtown Cincinnati that we live in right now, is that every now and then you hear gunshots and you just kind of pay no mind or attention to it. He explained that sometimes you just had to take church buses and large groups because there is always safety in numbers. I mean, it really doesn't need to go into a lot of discussion. He explained to me that those who need the most help usually don't live in the best places. The cheap cost of living in well-known neighborhoods, go hand in hand with just bad areas. People that usually can't generally afford things, a lot of times get stuck in a lot of debt, and that just seems to just swirl around until it gets worse and worse. Then Mr. Shuck went on about safety. Safety is explained a lot at these work sites from what I'm told. It's one of the biggest responsibilities of everybody, not just for yourself, but everybody around you. You have to remember you're going to be working with large equipment, tools, sharp items. You're going to have to deal with slips, trips, and falls that, can ruin any construction job. Steve did point out the regularity that still a job is a job, that, it requires grit and hard work, and to build a house from scratch, that is requiring sweat equity by the family, which means that they have to work beside the construction workers to eventually build their home. They're earning their right to be able to do such. And any hard work builds good character and strong homes, which is better in both what the family needs at the time. To talk about Habitat... Mickey Mouse. Habitat for Humanity was started in the early 1990s. That's a lie. I am trying to make a fucking video.